internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winford Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
I'm not here to take someone's place. I am Ganga, and I have my own identity. Radhika needs you now. Please sit with her and go assure her that no matter what happens, you will never leave her side.
Handling the accounts of this is my responsibility. I will find out why this money is unaccounted for.
You have one night to make sure that you carry out your duties properly, Shiv, because from tomorrow, you will no longer have a role to play here.
No one is allowed to touch Parvati's things no matter what. No one at all. Least of all you.
Ganga.
Brought to you by
Hyundai or Hyundai.
Thanks for joining us for CVM News at noon for this Wednesday, August 20, 2025. I'm Amoy Harriet. Up first this afternoon, relief could be on the horizon for the nation's over 25,000 teachers after wage talks with the government recently hit a snag. The Finance Ministry offered the educators a 3-year wage deal with no increase in the first year and a 2.5% raise in the following 2 years. Now, the teachers have rejected the offer, demanding more. Speaking on day 3 of the Jamaica Teachers Association annual conference earlier today, Education Minister Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon said the government is committed to giving the educators the best possible offer.
As you know, I'm not Minister of Finance, right? So I'm going to tell you, right? So you do not need to look at that zero. Do not look at that zero. What we say to you is, we are ready. The Minister of Finance is ready. The PM has said, as a former teacher, as a former Minister of Education, teachers deserve a good salary. He has said that, and he means it. And so as we go back to the table, President, I expect that we will be negotiating in good faith.
This was newly installed President of the JTA, Mark Malavra, earlier this week.
I am unmoved, unshaken, and I will not back down. Let the message go loud and clear. 0% is not an offer. Somebody needs to tell Antife that 0% cannot buy a Pro Box. If this matter is not treated with, then we will leverage the resources of the teacher and bring a class action lawsuit against the government on behalf of these teachers. Worries in the dance.
So a CVM News follow-up, the police have recaptured an additional 2 of the 9 inmates who escaped from the Constant Spring police lockup in St. Andrew on Tuesday. 23-year-old Talik Chambers, who's charged with identity theft, was recaptured sometime Wednesday morning, along with 19-year-old Richard Bishop. Now, Bishop is charged with burglary and larceny. The police didn't release details of their recapture. Now, this brings to 3 the number of escapees recaptured after the daring jailbreak early Tuesday morning. The police recaptured 45-year-old David Roden shortly after the incident on Tuesday. However, still at large are 25-year-old Kemal Kelly of Manningsville District in St. Andrew. He's charged with assault at common law and using a firearm to commit a scheduled offense. Also, 26-year-old Brandon Ennis of Belvedere in Red Hill, St. Andrew, who's charged with possession of a prohibited weapon. Also on the run is 26-year-old Junior Anthony Barnes of Iron River in Stony Hill, St. Andrew, who's charged with possession of a weapon and ammunition, as well as 25-year-old Don Q. Douglas of Oxford Street in Kingston. Also on the run is 19-year-old Alonzo Espute of Cassava Peace in St. Andrew, who's charged with murder, and 18-year-old Frey Messias of Pinto, Stony Hill, St. Andrew, who's charged with rape. An island-wide manhunt continues for the remaining 6 escapees. The police are reminding members of the public that it is a criminal offense to harbor a fugitive. Concerns this afternoon in central Kingston after a property occupied by several residents was demolished. The residents concede they received a verbal notice from authorities to vacate, but lament they have nowhere to go. Crystal Williams has the details.
To me, I know them are going to finish them house there. A PNP are going to build them house there.
PNP MP candidate for Central Kingston, Steve McGregor, made these promises at the PNP conference held on Sunday in Crossroads.
As it relates to housing, we have found 3 locations where 500 houses can be set up in Central Kingston. The location that we found in the Raytown division along Hanover Street. The man them go break ground down there.
One can imagine his bewilderment when he received the call while in church that one of the residents of Hanover Street was in the process of losing her home.
Because him said that, this morning, peer bulldozer come, whoever will tear down the people, them affair run and grab them things, bed, everything mash up. Nobody can cook, nobody can do nothing.
Meanwhile, the constituency under the jurisdiction of the sitting member of parliament, Donovan Williams, was met with bulldozers as the only shelter she was barely holding on to was now being demolished.
The UDC development where I do it, but you never build proper, do it small. So me the force go over because the rain that soaked me, and enough of my friends tell them to mash up on my dash them.
The resident's neighbor says the JLP had expressed intentions to provide housing, but this is not the outcome she is witnessing.
Them buy it and them go lick it down, them give the resident photo pamphlet with pretty house for a bill. Fine. Them say them give them verbal notice and them to come up. My question is, verbal warning working at them their age, not written.
The residents of Hanover Street are now left confused as they no longer believe their housing needs are a priority.
Where's the humanitarian? Them say they are for the people. What people?
Crystal Williams reporting for CVM News.
Now, efforts to get a comment from the JLP's incumbent Donovan Williams were unsuccessful up to news time as calls to his phone went unanswered. Now, experts have been weighing in on the new format of the national debates ahead of the September 3 general election. The Jamaica Debates Commission announced there will no longer be opening statements from each party to allow for more questioning, as well as a team format for the debate on the economy. Speaking on CVM's lead story last night, a member of the Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment, JADE, Ronaldino McLean, says the changes are good.
The 2 big changes that the JDC implemented were to remove the usual opening statements that teams would give. Yes. They usually give opening statements in addition to closing statements. Now they'll just give closing statements, and that should allow for more questioning and answering from questioners, journalists involved. As for the second change implemented to, turn the debate on the economy into a team debate rather than a mere one-on-one between finance minister and spokesperson on finance traditionally. I also support that move.
Now, also speaking on CVM's lead story, Chairman and First Secretary of Jamaica Lands, Christoph Simpson, weighed in on the changes.
We don't really see a difference between the two major parties. Whichever party is in power tends to preach a certain way, and whichever party is in opposition tends to just be opposed to that. And they might come with some flashy last-minute stuff, but as far as we're concerned, whichever party is in power is going to do the same thing, more or less. The problem I'm speaking more to is just a lack of ideological difference between the parties. These debates should go on. Maybe they should even be broadened beyond, say, these general scopes.
And it's time for a break, but stay with us. More news when we return.
The new name in forklift sales and rentals in Jamaica. Top quality, low prices, fleet discounts available, 12-month warranty, free service parts, daily rentals, crazy cheap. Ashman's Equipment, same forklift, better deals.
It's the dawn of a new day, and the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation is shaping a future filled with opportunities and limitless possibilities. The government is building the foundation for a thriving tomorrow through strategic billion-dollar investments that fuel industries, facilitate an environment for job creation, and empower communities to rise. We are transforming Jamaica with world-class sustainable infrastructure, creating a nation where every Jamaican can achieve more and build a lasting legacy. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, investing today, building a future for tomorrow.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Transforming care across the nation. The Jamaica Labour Party is doing more for your health. We've expanded NHF benefits and filled over 3 million prescriptions. Free checks and new subsidies for tests. We're making care more accessible. Plus, 138 health centers repaired and major hospitals under construction. Choose a healthier Jamaica. Put your X beside the bell.
The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
Welcome back to CVM News at noon. We're continuing the news. Improved infrastructure is among the major agenda items for residents in Northwest Clarendon this election campaign. Speaking with CVM News on Monday, both candidates vying for the right to represent the constituency as the next Member of Parliament promised improvement. Crystal Williams reports.
Northwest Clarendon, I go back to the People's National Party. We're not a representative. Can't wait for Mr. Hassan come back out. Can't wait. Can't wait at all. Look for the town, I'll go to the place. Look for the place. Bad word that kill me.
This sentiment by a resident of the Frankfield division was an issue he thought would be solved by a specific aspiring Member of Parliament. It left PNP candidates for Clarendon Northwestern, Richard Azan, questioning what the JLP was able to achieve during their time in office.
I would like the Labour Party to show what they have done. And especially in the last 5 years, that the Prime Minister could not cut a ribbon in Northwestern Clarendon, more than cut ribbon for bad road.
However, the JLP candidate, Warren Newby, took on the challenge after Philip Enriquez, the JLP incumbent, decided not to seek re-election. Newby assured constituents that with his name on the ballot, they have nothing to worry about.
All the residents that you speak to, they want to make sure that there's water in their pipes and that their roads are rehabilitated. That's number one priority.
While outlining other interests he had in improving the constituency, he warned supporters to operate as safely as possible despite what he thought was misleading messaging.
What needs to happen though is a wholesale condemnation of the blood and fire message of the People's National Party. It is irresponsible. The intention is to gaslight their supporters, to gas them up such that they are going to use violence as a means of electioneering.
Crystal Williams, CVM News.
Meanwhile, in eastern Westmoreland, the opposition's General Secretary, Dr. Dayton Campbell, is vowing to tackle long-standing issues. Once again, here's Crystal Williams.
General Secretary of the People's National Party, Dr. Dayton Campbell, brought out a massive crowd in eastern Westmoreland. Dr. Campbell, who is going up against sitting Member of Parliament Danny Lawrence, was nominated at 11 a.m. on Sunday. Dr. Campbell says when elected, he has major plans for the constituency, including infrastructure, employment, and education.
We'll move the time period for you to gain access to land from 60 years to 25 years. And then we're talking about employment. There's going to be great focus on agriculture, also small businesses and entrepreneurship, education right from early childhood up to tertiary healthcare, primary healthcare, tertiary healthcare. We're going to put a mobile clinic in place as well, a youth and community development, and there are some things.
He also mentioned the focus on the removal of overtime tax, building a new fire station, and community centers for entertainment and youth engagement purposes, while still meeting the everyday needs of the people.
We also plan to put up at least $1 million that will be available to persons who are doing their round robin so they can get a loan. And when they keep it, they can rotate it so other persons can benefit. And we'll have a one-stop shop for approval of permits.
When asked about his opponent, he says he was not perturbed.
We're running against a target. There is overwhelming support of the PNP in the constituency, and we know we'll hit our target. And so, you know, we're fine.
Crystal Williams reporting for CVM News.
And we head to a break, but stay with us. More local stories after these messages.
Attention registered voters! Remember to collect your renewed voter ID card before the upcoming general election. If you registered to vote in 2016 or after and did not get your new ID card, it may have been automatically renewed. Simply visit your EOJ constituency office to collect your voter ID card. Contact the Electoral Office of Jamaica at 888-991-VOTE or 922-0425-9 for more information.
The time by Subaru is 12:15.
Tired of the high interest rates and the whole heap of loan payments every month? Take a debt consolidation loan from AIM to pay credit card bills and all other high interest rate loans from other institutions. Make one low monthly payment to AIM and take home some extra money in your pocket. That's financial freedom. One loan, one low payment, more money in your pocket. Call AIM today to lower your loan payment. And remember, you won't find a better deal elsewhere. Guaranteed.
Welcome back to CVM News at noon. As election campaigning intensifies, questions are being raised about the role of the church and biblical leadership in Jamaican politics. Pastor Sean Williams says true leadership must be rooted in biblical principles.
We have to really be deliberate in guarding our hearts from what I call the political spirit of division and pitting each other against one another, against hate and fear, because we are all Jamaicans out of many what? One people. And we have to remember that God is still God. You can't vote God off his throne. It reveals our heart. It reveals who or what have I put my trust in or confidence in. Because the failure of authority is a test. Do I trust the God who is the authority of all authorities? And when leaders fail, we have to go back to the book. Trust in God. God will not fail. And my hope in Jamaica remains strong because God has a great plan for us.
In news overseas, there are double red flag warnings from Maryland to North Carolina and mandatory evacuations for the Outer Banks, with some experts predicting storm surges up to 4 feet in some areas. ABC News tells us more.
Hurricane Erin closing in. Experts predicting storm surge of up to 4 feet in some areas. Water already surrounding homes and flowing down streets along the East Coast. Officials urging residents to take the storm seriously.
This is no time to be complacent.
Vicious waves and high tides forcing beach closures in New York and New Jersey. Double red flag warnings from Maryland to North Carolina.
They're kicking us out today, so we might have a place to stay at night.
Mandatory evacuations in effect for the Outer Banks, where Aaron's surge could leave residents and visitors stranded.
We don't have a very wide beach, and that means we're going to have tremendous amount of ocean overwash. It'll close the roads down there. It'll mean we can't respond to calls.
Air Force hurricane hunters tracking Aaron, throwing ocean buoys out of a C-130 to gather data. The massive system expanding, now more than 600 miles across.
And it's time for a break, but stay with us. Sports is next.
The new pack Sweet Living promotion. Win great prizes. Living room set or bedroom set or kitchen appliance set. Plus 2 consolation prizes of AC units. Send in 5 new pack labels or receipts. Labels must belong to at least the new pack canned beans or peas, new pack ketchup, and new pack oil categories. Fill out the tagline. New pack, more than just value. Place your entry in one of the drop boxes at